9 Sports.
What is poppin' to them? Welcome back to sports. The high school track and field season is nearing the end here in Siouxland as both Nebraska and Iowa hold their state meets. And if you haven't followed along, here is a few notable scores from today. In Iowa, Lawton Bronson's Landon Grell has had quite the day at the championships. He took first in the boys 200-meter sprint at the 2A level with a time of 21.99 seconds. But not only that, he also stole the show in the 110-meter hurdles with a time of 14.54 seconds. Now on the girls' side, in the 100-meter sprint, it's Kaylee Tooker who took first for MOC Floyd Valley with a time of 12 seconds flat. Now in Nebraska, in the Class D girls 4x1, it's Wassa taking the crown with a time of 49.56 seconds, right in front of second place Bloomfield, who finished 50.7 seconds. Then in a more long-winded event, it's Crofton's Avery Aarons who took first place in the Class C girls 1600-meter race, 4 seconds ahead of second place with a time of 5 minutes, 13.92 seconds. More scores will be found on our website after we finalize them tonight. Now over to the ballpark as we begin the highlights in Lincoln as the #1 Huskers softball team hosts number 15 Oklahoma State in the Super Regional round of the NCAA tournament. Now Huskers have dominated this season and are only a win away from making the Women's College World Series. In their way are the 4th-seeded Cowgirls. This one low scoring through 5 innings, then Nebraska took the reins. 2-run homer here from Hannah Core is just out of reach to get over the wall, and Big Red takes a 4-1 lead over Oklahoma State. Then a few more at-bats and scores later. Lauren Kamenzen sends another over the wall and rakes up 2 more runners for a 3-run homer. Big Red dominates to a 9-1 victory and advances to the first World Series appearance since 2013. Meanwhile, Huskers baseball took on Oregon in the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. The Ducks got to work early. Drew Smith grounds out, but not before helping Ryan Cooney make it back home to put Oregon up 1-0. Jump to the third, Huskers looking to escape, and Rhett Stokes steps up for the play, tags second, and slings it to first for the double play. But that's about it from Nebraska today. Oregon just kept piling on scores onto the 9th inning, and Nebraska would fall to the Ducks 8-0. But they weren't the only squad in a semifinal matchup. Creighton took on Xavier for a spot in the Big East Championship. And things got off the right way. Rocco Gump sends one deep in the 5th inning to tie it at 1. But someone tell Jenny the grass ain't getting mowed today. Gump again in the 6th inning sends this one miles, and he was running. 3-run homer puts the Blue Jays up 5-1 late in the game, and another homer in 7th and plus an RBI would help Creighton advance to the Big East title game, beating Xavier 7-4. Last stop for highlights, Lewis and Clark Park as the X's continue their home opening series with the Salt Dogs. Jump to the 3rd inning, X's down 2-0. Jackson Mayo sends this one deep, and that's going to be out of here. 2-run homer for the center fielder, ties it up at 2 apiece. Only a few at-bats later, pitch gets away from the catcher, and that allows Jackson Vandebrake to steal third, which in turn sets the X's up beautifully. Elliott Good pops one to right field, almost a foul, but it stays in for the RBI. Explorers keep the wins coming at home with the 5-2 victory. Finally, the Bandits went on the road this week to Salina, Kansas to play the Liberty. Last matchup, Sioux City won 47-46, but didn't go their way tonight as they lost 39-11. Bandits return home next week for their final game of the regular season against the Southwest Kansas Storm. That does it for sports, and we'll be right back after the break.
Now, KCAU 9 Sports.
What is poppin'? So welcome back to sports. College baseball wrapped up their conference tournaments today, and for me, my Washington State Cougs won the Mountain West title, but for Siouxland, it's Creighton competing for the Big East Tournament Championship with top seed St. John's. Creighton roughed up Xavier on Saturday to advance the title game's take on St. John's, who they lost to in the first game of the tournament. But jump to 3rd inning today. We heard his name a lot yesterday, and the trend will continue. Rocco Gump with the moonshot, and it's out here. Another one for Bubba is going to put Creighton on top 2-0. Skip to the 4th. Gump back in the box, and this time singles it into right field. But that buys time for Teddy Dieters to run home to extend the lead 3-1. With this performance, Gump earned himself the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award, as well as a spot on the all-tournament team. But even that would not be enough, as St. John's would crawl back to win 5-3. Now, on the women's side of things, several softball squads competed yesterday and today to punch their ticket to the Women's College World Series. One team that advanced themselves are the #1 Huskers of Nebraska after dominating Oklahoma State in 2 games of Super Regional play, winning 8-1 on Friday and 9-1 on Saturday, which was powered by 7 runs in the 5th inning.
I don't think it's really sank in yet. I don't think I'll ever have the right words for this feeling, but it's very surreal, and I couldn't be more proud to represent Nebraska with these guys.
The consistency in our preparation and the way we've attacked every part of the season, every opponent we've played all year long, it's just one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And, I mean, I feel like we're going to do just fine. We've played in big moments, big high-pressure, energizing settings this year, and we just keep our head down and we keep working. And so that's just going to be our focus, is not changing too much, if anything at all, and just stick with our consistency.
The Huskers face #10 Arkansas next on May 28th for their first appearance in the College World Series since 2013. Back here in town, the Sioux City Soul hosted the Dakota Alliance Soccer Club. Soul already up 4-1 early in the second half, doing an excellent job of protecting their lead. Not many shots on goal for the Alliance. Midway through the second half, Sioux City looking for goal number 5, and it would be denied, but the ricochet ends up again with yellow, and another shot is fired, but miraculously, the goalie, Haley Coffin, was there to shut that down. Dakota would find the net one more time late in the match, but the Soul would take it 4-2. All right, now it's time to take a look at our Sports Zone top 5 plays of the week. As per usual, another great week in Siouxland sports. Let's kick it off at number 5. We head to Sioux City East for some baseball. East leads 2-0 in the bottom of the first, and you know how important first impressions are. Cal Chamberlain, in his first at-bat as a Black Raider, takes his ball for a ride. 3-run blast makes it 5-0. Touches home plate, then time for a little crowd surfing. Number 4, we head to the South Dakota Track Showcase. Boys 100-meter dash. Final heat going stride for stride. Near photo finish ends in favor of Dakota Valley's Jackson Shoulders with a time of 11.11 seconds, beating second place by 0.03 of a second. Number 3, East-West Boys Soccer. Wolverine goalie Jordan Grajeda steps up for the save and misses, but uses his body to make sure that doesn't go in. Number 2, same game, different story. Here comes Werlin Chaj Garcia flying over and through defenders until centering it to Giovanni Morales for the first score of that game. They went on to win that 2-0. That leaves us at number 1. Our top play of the week belongs to Heelan Baseball. Brody Schoner fields the bunt and throws to first for the out. Great heads-up play by Aiden LaFlavor at first, tossed across the diamond. The pitcher, Caleb LaFavor, lays the tag. That is for top 5 plays and for sports. We'll be right back after the break. Is popping to I'm Alexander Helson, and welcome to sports. All eyes are on the SDHS-BA Class B state tournament in Brookings as the Dakota Valley Panthers and Vermilion Tanagers begin bracket play in the quarterfinal round, starting with the number 6 Panthers taking on 3rd-seeded Lennox. Thanks to our friends at Midwest Sports Plus for the highlights. Panthers at the plate in the top of the first, wasting no time. Dakota Valley with a deep shot to right field, lost in the sun, and goes all the way to the warning track. Plates a run, and the Panthers put up the game's first run. Both teams trade a run. Panthers lead 2-1 in the top of the 5th. Runners on the corner, sac fly to center field. DV delivers another run to go up a pair. Same frame, same result. Panthers poke this one down the left field line, and they boost their lead to 4-1. Lennox would score 2 runs late, but the Panthers upset the Orioles 4-3, advancing to tomorrow's semifinals at 12:30. Now the Vermilion Tanagers look to move on to Irv Huther Field, taking on PGWL. Jump to 3rd inning. This ball is popped to the left field for a single, but just enough airtime to help the Tanager runner on 3rd make it home, and now it's a 2-0 Vermilion ball game. Skip to the 6th inning. The Honkers tied at 2, but that wasn't enough. This single into right gets 2 more runners home to make it 4-2 PGWL. Vermilion has some work to do heading into the final 2 innings. In the 7th, 2 outs, still trying to stay alive. This one is cracked to right field, and Vermilion brings a runner home. It's 4-3, but a 3-pitch strikeout would decide the fate of the Tanagers as they fall to PGWL 4-3. Now closer to home, the Sioux City Explorers are one of just 4 teams in the American Association to play on this holiday this year, hosting East Division foe Milwaukee at Lewis and Clark Park. Now that's where we find Sports Director Anthony Mitchell with a look at this Memorial Day matchup. Anthony, take it away.
Hey, Alexander, good afternoon. Happy Memorial Day to all of our viewers here in Siouxland. Just like you mentioned, the X is one of a few teams here in the American Association that are playing ball today, as you can tell right behind me. They're looking to bounce back after a tough home weekend against Lincoln. They've got the Milwaukee Milkmen on deck. X's and the Milkmen both coming into this game tonight with 5 wins each. X is searching for its first Memorial Day win at home since 2018. Zach Willman earns the start for Sioux City, fans the batter on the top of the second to get Sioux City back at the plate. One of his 9 strikeouts on the night. Sioux City with a runner on in the bottom half. Alberto Ozuna with a great jump and just gets under the tag. He's safe at second. Milkmen lead 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Zach Vuletich takes this ball for a ride. Deep shot to left field off the top of the wall. That brings home 2 runners. Vuletich safely into second for the double to make it a 1-run deficit at 4-3, and then from that point on, it's been all Milwaukee. I guess the Milkmen with a bit of movement on the scoreboard. Looking right now, they're up 8-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Sioux City with an uphill battle. We'll see if they do it tonight at 10. Alexander, back to you.
All right. Thanks, Anthony. I like the pun, but
I did. I
stay
giggled.
hydrated out there for sure. But yeah, that does it for sports. There we go.
Perfect. Very exciting. Thank you.
Sports.
What's poppin', Siouxland? Welcome back to sports. The Explorers look to start its week off in the win column, battling Milwaukee and Sioux City to begin its 4-game series. Anthony Mitchell has more from Lewis and Clark Park.
Greetings and welcome to Lewis and Clark Park, home of the Sioux City Explorers. The X is just one of 2 teams in the American Association to host a game on the Memorial Day holiday, welcoming an East Division foe, Milwaukee. Both teams enter the game with 5 wins. X is searching for its first Memorial Day win at home since 2018. Zach Willman earns the start for Sioux City. Fans the batter on the top of the second to get Sioux City back at the plate, one of his 9 on the night. Sioux City with a runner on in the bottom half. Alberto Ozuna with a great jump and just gets under that tag safe at second. Milkmen lead 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Zach Vuletich takes this ball for a ride. Deep shot to left field off the top of the wall. That brings home 2 runners. Vuletich safely into second for the double to make it a 1-run deficit at 4-3. But this one, all Milkmen. Milwaukee wins 11-3.
If we give up 1 run per inning, we win the game. And, over the course of the last couple of days, it's been 4, 4, 3, 2, 4, 4. It looks like area codes up there. So we got to get back to, when we get a runner on, they hit a leadoff double, let's limit that to 1. And you know what? You might pitch out of it. You get a strikeout, you might pitch out of it. So that's what we did so well last year, and we got to get back to playing the style of baseball that we are accustomed to.
Sioux City continues the series against the Milkmen on Tuesday night for a 6:35 p.m. first pitch. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Many of our local high school squads had the day off, but potentially one of the biggest games in the state took place in Orange City as #1 MOC Floyd Valley took on 3rd-ranked Bishop Heelan in a battle of Class 3A heavyweights. Dutchman taking part in its season opener, Crusaders off to a 4-0 start. Heelan got to work fast. Brooks McCarty getting set for the pitch, and Jonathan Hope takes off, heading home, and he beats the throw for the game's first score. A couple at-bats later, pitch bounces high, and the catcher loses sight from second base. Here comes Brody Shaner, rounds third and heads home, scores on the slide. Heelan looks in control with a 2-0 lead, but McCarty would snag a couple of strikeouts to get out of that inning, and the Dutchman would actually regain control and dominate in an 11-4 win. Now, Nebraska softball isn't the only Husker team on the diamond to host postseason action, as Big Red Baseball was selected to host regionals for the first time since 2008. This marks the 20th time Nebraska will play in regionals and the 7th time the Huskers will host. Nebraska, the number 13 national seed, entered the conference tournament as Big Ten semifinalists and carry a 42-15 overall record into the weekend. Big Red boasts a 23-1 record at home and have not lost in Lincoln since April. The team is excited for the opportunity, one they've believed in and worked toward since the start of the year.
Having a chance to host a regional here and what that means for our fan base, and we've talked about it a lot. Obviously, I stood in my opening press conference, talked about hosting a regional, so the standards have been high. So to kind of see that come to fruition is pretty awesome.
Nebraska earned the top seed in the Lincoln Regional and will take on South Dakota State on Friday at 3 p.m. The other matchup in the regional boasts second-seeded Ole Miss and number 3 Arizona State. Nebraska softball is just days away from its first College World Series appearance since 2013. They drew the 4 seed and are set to face number 5 Arkansas on Thursday at approximately 8:30 p.m. And that is it for sports, Josie.
You know, Alex, it's very interesting that there was a game today. Usually people just take the day off and celebrate the Memorial Day.
Yeah, well, we didn't and neither did they, so it was a good time at the ballpark today.
Exactly. Well, very interesting. Thank you, Alex.